Hey guys, it's Adam aka Swimming Bird and welcome to Minecraft version 1.4.6 that just came out today for Thursday the 20th. Now I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can. I'm going to go down all the new features that were added and just go through them. So let's get going. Okay, so the first one here, I'm going to pick some of these and you will immediately see that the name pops up in the tooltip at the bottom for the item that you have just picked up. That is something that you can turn off in the options, or if you have Optifine, it's very easy to turn off. But it's a cool new way to see what your item is called without having to hover over it. Now, if you shift click, so I'll take this redstone torch here. Now, if I shift or sneak click, right click, I can place items onto blocks that would normally have an interface like this, and ones I couldn't normally put it on. Like I could put an item frame on a chest without having to finagle and do any weird stuff, and I got my lever on my dispenser and all this cool stuff. So that is pretty awesome. Items are also now in 3D. You will notice when you drop them, if you have fancy graphics on. If you have fast graphics, I can just illustrate that the items will be flat again, and they also appear in 3D in your item frames, which is pretty cool. If you can look at the side here, you see them all popping out, which is pretty awesome. Now, another thing you might have noticed here is touchscreen controls. That is for people with tablets or touchscreen stuff that they're playing on, and they can move their items around or do long clicks to half block stacks with that. So they might add more to that in the future. Now, another thing, the 3D items, all that stuff, if you have Optifine, you can easily turn that off. So keep that in mind. Now, if you have a stack of something, you can either drop it like you normally would, but if you want to drop the whole thing, hold Q or Control and then hit Q or whatever your drop key is to drop an entire stack, which is pretty awesome. Now, a reminder I forgot here, I got to make sure you guys know, do not update yet if you play on a server that hasn't updated. And if you don't know, you can head into your server list and see what version they're using. But you got to be careful with that because servers won't automatically update it. Just another warning before we move on. Okay, so enchantment books. That's the next thing we're going to talk about. Now, enchantment books, you can find these in villages or dungeons. I just made a little mock dungeon here. This is what they look like. They'll usually have a lower level enchantment. You can find one enchantment per book, but if you have two of the same, you can combine them to get a higher level one, which is pretty cool. You can also trade villagers for them, which was awesome. You have to generate new areas, though, if you're going to find these chests, because this is a world generation change. Now, some of the new enchantments, first off, anything with durability can now have unbreaking on it, which is pretty awesome. So flint and steel, all these 6 that you see here are some of the main ones that you wouldn't think would have durability, but now do. Also, shears can get silk touch and efficiency if you use books to enchant them, so you can use that to cut down these cobwebs. Now, some of the new armor enchantment effects. Now, thorns, this is I'm just gonna have to break this because if you pick it you don't get the enchantment, which is strange for item frames, but thorns on your armor will cause you to do damage to any enemy that attacks you. It is kind of intermittent, but I'll just illustrate it here. Oh, I'm on peaceful, so they're not going to spawn. Let me just change that real quick. And so yeah, it will do damage occasionally, but be careful because it does wear your armor out quicker if you are using thorns. Man, this guy is just walking. Here, come here. There we go. It did a little more. He's on fire, so you can't really tell as well. My dog saved me. But yeah, thorns will do damage. It has 3 tiers. So another thing that has changed with armor is fire protection and blast protection have new functions. Now, fire protection will extinguish when you're on fire. It won't just protect you from it, it will extinguish the fire faster, and blast protection will reduce the knockback from explosions from creepers and TNT, which is pretty cool. Now, just normal protection, if you were to, or before the update, if you were to combine like projectile, fire, blast protection, all that stuff, it would not be as strong as normal protection, but normal protection has been nerfed a little bit to make it more balanced now. So axes can now get different enchantments too. They can get unbreaking, obviously, like they could like before, but now they can do sharpness, smite, and bane of arthropods. So if you want to use an axe, a diamond axe actually only does half a heart less damage than a sword, so it's a nice alternative, albeit a little more expensive to make. But yeah, axes are now more viable for combat, which is pretty awesome. Now let's move on here. So unbreaking is on anything, axes, we got all that stuff. So zombie skeletons and zombie pigmen, now speaking of enchantments, when they have enchanted armor, it will now be usually better than what they had before on higher difficulty. So you got to be careful with that. They're a bit stronger with their enchantments. Now this is a new item here. The nether slab, you craft it by putting 3 nether brick in a row, and you can now use that. So one quick change for anyone who has used this block here, this is the double slab, you can only use it by doing the give command. It is changed to be 7 now. If you know how to enter these, this is how you would get a stack of these. And now the one that's replaced it is the nether slab. And here's just some other quick 52 and 51. If you want fire or monster spawners, I thought I'd throw those out there. I could put this in the dungeon, but it will only be a pig unless you go in and edit it. There's a pig right there. So yeah, monster spawners and fire, all that stuff. That's not part of the update necessarily. I just thought it would be useful info to people. So we got nether slabs. Let's go on to fireworks and quickly go through this. I've covered this in some other videos, but if you want to build a firework, you need a firework star. So the way to craft that is to put gunpowder with a dye. You can do up to 2 to have it blow up with one color and burn out to the other color, and that's how you craft a normal one. Now there are 6 items that can change how they affect how the fireworks star will look. So they're star shaped with glowstone, a trail is diamond, twinkle would be with the gold nugget there, the burst is feather, and the large ball is with the flame charge. So if you wanted to make like a creeper faced one, you can use a wither skull, but you would just put it with the gunpowder step with the dye. Now once you have your fireworks star, you're going to want to put it with gunpowder and paper. Now if you want it to fly higher, add another gunpowder up to 3. Here you have to put them individually, and you can make it fly a lot higher. And if you wanted to do some other effects, like say I wanted this this effect here, just a normal purple color, kind of blue and red together, I could put that in here as well, up to whatever slots you have left. So when it explodes, it will have multiple effects, which I can illustrate here. I've got a few in here, and you can see them. This will explode with a large ball and a creeper face. So that's basically how fireworks work. They're a little complicated, but they are pretty fun. Here's a tip that is in the old versions, but I didn't realize. If you're in creative and you pick block on a stack of an item, it will just duplicate that whole stack. So if you're in creative making fireworks, this is an easy way to make a ton of fireworks instead of having to craft them individually. In creative, it's very tedious, uses a lot of gunpowder, but it is for special occasions. I think it's for people who have a ton of stuff anyways. Now, the final thing here before I get into the bug fixes is when you are shooting a bow, an arrow will render farther. I did a video showing this off exactly on servers. They will fly a lot farther, because, well, they'll fly the same way, but they will actually render into chunks farther, so you can hit stuff farther away. And one thing, I will add this sound in post, but if you shoot a player, we got Steve here, it will do a ding sound. And I also set it up to shoot off a firework from his butt. But yeah, that ding sound is only for shooting players. So I'm just going to add it in so you can hear it. Bam. Okay, so yeah, that is mostly it. Some of the bugs they fixed. Withers now will not destroy their nether star on accident when they shoot it. Mobs, if you have mob griefing turned off, they won't trample crops anymore. Minecarts can go through nether portals. They won't flicker and stuff as much. And if you were to open chests really fast, there used to be an issue with chest sync, where like sometimes it would be stuck open, but now they have pretty much narrowed that down to where it's not going to stay open and look weird, although I thought that was kind of cool. So that is pretty much it. If you have any questions, I went through this very quick. Let me know in the comments or anything. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. One last thing, this seed here was pretty unique and cool because it's got a nice like forest with the jungle right next to it that blends very well, I think. But another thing, when I spawned in, there were a ton of wolves right around me, and then flying around there were even more. Wow, the arrow disappeared, I guess, and shot that off. That's cool. So yeah, there were a ton of wolves when I spawned here. It was basically a group surrounding me. So if you want to roleplay a world where you spawn in and you're raised by wolves, and then you get to to go off and live your own life, leaving the wolves behind or taming them, it's kind of a cool little seed. The seed is just 1.4.6, just like that. So there you go. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. And I hope you guys, I fit it all in one day. Wow. Okay, I hope you guys enjoy 146. And I will see you next time. He is sniffing my butt like a dog should for other dogs, not for people. Okay. See you guys. Goodbye.